Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining our session and hope you are having a great experience at Octane 21 so far. In this session, we're going to be discussing how to influence Okta's product roadmap through Okta Ideas, which is the product feedback tool and process here at Okta. My name is Molly Masterson. I am a senior community program manager here at Okta. I have been at Okta for about 2 years now. I am part of the community team. And when I say the community, I'm talking about the Okta Help Center. And so within the Okta Help Center, my main focuses are, of course, Okta Ideas, our product feedback tool, as well as the Okta Community Leaders Program, which recognizes and rewards the top contributors on our community and across third-party channels. So shout out to any OCLs if they are on this session today. And I will let Beth and Rob introduce themselves. Rob, take it away.
Great. Thanks, Molly. And hi, everyone. My name is Rob Karel. I head up product marketing here at Okta for our workforce identity and our platform. I've been with Okta coming on 6 months now. Prior to Okta, I spent over 8 years at Informatica in a number of roles around product strategy, product marketing. And prior to that, I was an analyst with Forrester Research covering all aspects of the enterprise data management space. So I'm excited to be here with you, talk about identity management and where Okta's going.
Hi, everyone. I'm Beth Wang. I'm a group product manager here at Okta. I've been with Okta for nearly 7 years now, and my primary focus is on our admin experience, specifically our delegated and distributed administration. Prior to joining the product team, I worked closely with the support, CSM, and community teams on strategy and operations, which included Okta Ideas.
Awesome. Thanks, Rob and Beth. Just to take a quick peek at the agenda here, we are going to start with an overview of the Okta Ideas program, take a look at how the process works today, and a peek ahead at our upcoming roadmap. We're going to have a quick fireside chat along with a live Q&A. And I did want to call out that this session is not intended to be an opportunity to ask status updates on very, very specific features and ideas that you've submitted. So for any questions, please visit the product roadmap site or check on Okta Ideas to view the status. So before we get into some of the background information about Okta Ideas, I wanted to zoom out a little bit and talk about why Okta has a product feedback program in the first place. And this is not only because loving our customers is our number one core value, but because some of our most valuable feedback comes from customers. And in order to stay current, we need to construct our roadmap based on your plans and what your needs are. And that's why we updated our product feedback tool to the new Okta Ideas platform last year. This is an upgraded experience from customer feedback tools that you might be used to because it allows you to give us a much deeper look into your priorities as well as your use cases. So let's roll this video to learn a little bit more about Okta Ideas.
At Okta, we know that great products are built on great ideas. And that includes your ideas. That's why Okta is launching Ideas, a simple centralized platform for you to quickly and easily provide feedback on Okta products. Open the Ideas dashboard and suggest your idea. Write a brief description of your idea, and it will be added to a list of related ideas from other people. You can browse all of these ideas and vote for the ones that matter the most to you. As an Okta customer, you can also prioritize the ideas you've submitted as well as the ones you voted on. The more votes an idea earns, the better chance it has of being reviewed by Okta's product team. Once you've submitted or subscribed to an idea, we'll keep you in the loop as it makes its way through our product roadmap. Visit Okta Ideas to start sharing your ideas today.
So for those of you who are newer to Okta or to the Okta Help Center, I wanted to walk through some of the basics around using the Okta Ideas tool. So starting with, where do you access it? You can access Okta Ideas directly from the Ideas URL, ideas.okta.com. You will need to log in order to do this using your Okta admin credentials. You can also access it directly from the Okta Help Center. You will go to the product dropdown, click Ideas, and SSO in automatically. How do you submit an idea? I know this was sort of demoed in the fun video that you just saw, but once you're logged in, you'll hit your personalized ideas dashboard, and there's a plus sign in the upper left, and you will follow the prompts to fill out the form for your idea to submit. We also do have a step-by-step walkthrough available in the Help Center, so highly recommend checking that out if you're new to the platform. Another question we get a lot, how will you know if the idea that you subscribe to is added to the roadmap or has changed in status? As long as you have email notifications turned on, you will receive an automatic email update anytime anything you've either submitted or voted on has changed status. So as far as how the process works behind the scenes, you submit your idea like I kind of just outlined. There's a period of time, the status right now is called awaiting feedback, where other customers will vote and prioritize ideas. From there, we take a look internally to see if anything aligns with our current roadmap plans, and then the idea is released. You will be notified as your idea makes its way through the product roadmap process. So last year in FY21, we had over 1.3 thousand net new ideas submitted. So wanted to say thank you to all of you who are super active in this platform. It's a lot of new information for us to sift through, and we really appreciate the time it takes to submit all of these use cases and provide us with all of this important information. Along with all of those net new ideas, we had over 14,000 individual votes on ideas. This is super helpful for us in understanding what is important to all of you, and helps us tremendously in prioritizing our roadmap. And I also wanted to call out that of the top 10 ideas, so this is the top 10 ideas that have been voted on and have been commented on, just all of the activity, 80% of those, so 8 out of 10 from the past year, have either been released or are already on the roadmap. So this just really shows the major effect that participating in our product feedback program has on our actual roadmap. So I wanted to highlight the status of all of the threshold ideas. And what we mean by threshold ideas, for those of you who are newer to the tool, is 20 votes. So when we launched Okta Ideas last year, we included a 20 vote threshold to set expectations around which ideas would get a guaranteed response from the product team. Because before, everyone's submitting, everyone's voting, they don't really have an idea about what realistically is going to get a response. So that's why we put this in place. We really wanted to set expectations around what you're going to hear back from. And so as those of you who are particularly active in the tool know, we are still actively working through the backlog of ideas that fell into this category for FY21. And I want to say there are maybe between 30 and 40 ideas that fall into this category right now. And honestly, maybe that number will bump up live as this session is happening. And I know that this might actually be one of the reasons that many of you are attending this session, right? Because there's an idea, you've been waiting on an update, it's reached 20 votes, what's going on? And I want to be really transparent around the fact that we do have a ways to go in order to scale this process and this tool to provide you quick updates on the various statuses of these features. And we understand how critical it is to you and how important it is, and how much of an impact these long waiting periods have had on your roadmaps and on your teams. So we have some major changes coming up this year that are going to help scale this process, that are going to end with you getting clearer updates faster. And so we're going to be highlighting some of those later in the session. So I wanted to highlight some of the ideas that are released and coming soon across the wide span of different roles. There's a lot that I could cover here, but again, there are a couple that I really want to highlight that I'm excited about. So workflows releases. These covered hundreds of votes and solved for a ton of different use cases that have been submitted to ideas over a really long period of time. So this is particularly exciting, and it feels great to be able to close out a lot of these and deliver for our customers. Another one that I wanted to call out is custom admin roles, which is coming soon. And this is something that's particularly exciting because it has been the #1 idea in the Ideas portal since we launched our first Ideas portal. I'm not sure what year it was. Beth, I don't know if you could clarify, back in 2015, 16 maybe?
It was around 2015, yeah.
2015. So this has been the #1 idea since we launched the portal. And I was joking with Beth before this session that Beth was part of the community team, which launched the first Ideas portal, and then eventually joined the product team, all so that she could deliver this wonderful idea. So again, something I really wanted to highlight and celebrate. Like I said, I don't want to spend too much time diving into any specific feature releases for the purposes of this session, but I wanted to call out some upcoming sessions that will provide deep dives. Later today, we have directories, and then tomorrow we have the peek into the future of access management with hybrid IT. So make sure to attend those sessions to check out some of the deep dives into the product roadmap. I wanted to highlight a few exciting developments and what's coming this year for the Okta Ideas program. One of those things that's going to have an immediate impact for all of you on this call is increased moderation and better response times. We haven't really set specific SLAs around when to expect responses from Okta in this channel, and that is something that is going to change. To be totally transparent, moderation has been very, very limited. We haven't gotten a lot of resources around it, but that is now different, and we are going to have dedicated moderators in this channel who are going to be responding not just to things that reach 20 votes, which do reach PM, but every single thing that comes through. So this is going to be hugely impactful for understanding quick status updates on features. Same with response times. I know this is something that is extremely frustrating for people who are participating in the tool. We don't have a specific SLA around this now, but I think when we launch this new moderation, we're probably going to be targeting around 48 hours. So you can expect much quicker responses on the things that are submitted through this tool, which is really exciting. Another thing we're going to be doing is making some major changes to the Ideas platform that aren't necessarily visible to you as customers, but are going to be hugely impactful for our product team. What we're going to be doing is integrating the Ideas platform with the tools that product managers are using in their day-to-day. So feature requests and feedback are centralized and surfaced directly in their control panel that they look at day in and day out. And I want to call out, we're not adjusting the 20 vote threshold, but this is going to make these feature requests a lot more visible to PMs. They cannot hide from them. They are going to be seeing them every time they log into the tool that they use on the day-to-day. So this is a really exciting development. And it also helps streamline what was previously a manual process for PMs participating in this channel. So that's really exciting too. We get a lot of feedback from customers around the awaiting feedback status. And we hear that, this is the status that an idea gets put in where it goes to die. You're not entirely wrong with that perception at this point. So what we are going to be doing this year is increasing the transparency around idea statuses and what they mean, and actually time boxing the amount of time that an idea can be within a certain status without being either approved or rejected. So hopefully that will help a lot with some of the confusion around the awaiting feedback status. Another thing we're going to be doing this year is adding a channel for feedback around documentation and knowledge. We get a lot of feedback on the Okta Help Center around missing documentation, broken links, things are difficult to find. And starting this year, you're going to be able to use the Ideas channel to let us know where those gaps are so that we can take quick action on them. So I wanted to give a few recommendations to customers who are maybe new to this channel or even ones that have been actively participating and want to know what they can do to boost their ideas. And the number one thing I always recommend is to share your ideas with your networks. We have ways to do this on the Help Center that are recently launched. You can leverage the new product hubs and group functionality, post your ideas and help gain support around them, and connect with other users who have similar use cases. You can also do this on third-party channels as well, or within your organizations. Any additional use cases that we get or any additional votes really help us understand the need and helps a lot with our road mapping process. Along with that, we highly recommend prioritizing your ideas. So the way to do that, when you're on your ideas dashboard, everything that you've submitted or that you voted on is centralized. You can move these little slider bars to indicate what is most important to you. This is a critical data point for us. And it really helps give us as many data points as possible as we are orchestrating our roadmap. And it really does make a huge difference. And the last thing is to add as much detail and as many use cases as possible. Obviously, the product team is at this point only obligated to answer things that hit the 20 vote threshold. But the more information we have in there, the more likely they are to look at this idea and consider it and use that information around making the decision. So again, I know I keep saying this, the more data that we have around a specific idea or a specific use case, the better. All right, so moving into the fireside chat, I am going to be joined by Rob and Beth, who you met earlier. Excited to talk product feedback with the both of you. My first question is for Rob, and I just wanted to get your take on why customer feedback is important and why it's important for companies like Okta to have a process for customer feedback.
Yeah, no, of course. Well, it's cliche, but obviously, if we're not listening to our customers, we're not going to be in business for very long. The whole point of our business is to solve what's most important for our customers. And, if we build it, they will come is not really how things work anymore. So if we're going to remain relevant and of high value to our customers, we have to listen to them. And the ideas portal is just a fantastic way for us to channel all of these creative ideas and not only understand what the ideas are, but understand how many of our customers really feel we need to prioritize this. So obviously, coming from a product marketing side, we want to figure out how are we solving customers' problems. But Beth, you probably from a product management side can provide even more insight into how product management is using ideas to prioritize what you're putting into the roadmap.
Yeah, definitely, Rob. And to just build on what you said, as not only our teams grow, but also our customer base grows to over 10,000 customers, the direct conversations with a handful of users, the approach we used to have for building out roadmaps, that's no longer enough input to really build those out in detail. And Ideas helps with this because it provides that summarized view of all requests, which we can sort by product area. And this is used directly when planning. I'll give you an example of this with our advanced server access product. The ASA team uses the Ideas platform to plan their entire roadmap. And the community added ideas really do greatly influence that roadmap. And because the planning is done directly from ideas, everything on the ASA product roadmap always has an updated status for what features are coming or what's already been delivered. And we've also found that showing this full roadmap in ideas helps to deflect feature requests since you can see what's already been asked for and what's planned to be delivered. And really, Okta's expansion into advanced server access happened because of customer feature requests, which ultimately led to an acquisition. Rob, can you share how Okta Ideas has influenced recent Okta acquisitions?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's very cool. As most of you know, Okta is acquisitive. We've acquired a lot of adjacent technologies to kind of broaden our identity access management capabilities. And ASA was a great example of us, entering the PAM space and providing that privileged access into servers. Another one in support of workflows was Azuqua. We acquired a couple of years ago. And that came from, as Molly mentioned earlier, workflows was really a significant ask from the ideas contributions. And we ended up making that acquisition, and that's been a massively impactful acquisition because we have so many of our customers that are not only leveraging workflows, for example, to support a lot of their lifecycle management initiatives, but they're actually using them to extend their identity capabilities beyond what we're doing within our package solutions. It's allowing them to leverage kind of this workflows platform service as something that can be leveraged to build new capabilities and new innovations on top of Okta. So that's always really cool.
Yeah, I always love talking about workflows because obviously, like you said, the reason that we made this acquisition, that we have this product is in part because of the contributions that were made on ideas. And I especially love talking about workflows because I know that this team is one of our product teams who relies really, really heavily on the Ideas tool as they build their roadmap going forward. But we talked about kind of how workflows solves for a lot of the different use cases that were submitted across Ideas. Rob, how is product marketing thinking about major platform changes versus individual feature adds?
Yeah, no, it's a great question because, Okta was born as a single product company, and over the past, 10 plus years, we've got a multi-product portfolio, and a lot of these products have a lot of shared capabilities and needs. And that's why the fact that they're leveraging a lot of these shared platform services are so key. So workflows is one example, integrations is another example, our identity engine is another example. And so it's really important for us to understand, okay, is the request coming in something that's really a feature that may be specific to the experience within a single one of our products? Or can we take a step back and say, well, is it likely that this request is something that would actually benefit our entire portfolio and is something that we should actually build in as a platform capability that can be leveraged across our portfolio? So, Beth, I bet you've got some experience here in terms of when you've seen requests come in and you've kind of taken that step back and you've actually, asked the question more holistically, hey, is this something that should be more of a platform capability versus something that might fit into an individual product?
Yeah, definitely, Rob. And admin roles is a great example of this. Over many years, a lot of customers have asked to solve for different gaps in our admin roles. And as Molly alluded to earlier, this has been raised as a custom admin role feature. And while we could have addressed each of these specific feature requests on their own, when we took a look at all of the ideas related to admin roles, it was clear that we needed to do more than just introduce more out of the box roles. And the only way to really address all the asks was to open up our permission framework so customers could create their own roles. But we also wanted to do this as a platform so it can work not only for the core Okta product and service, but all Okta products like workflows and Okta Access Gateway. And this has resulted in custom admin roles, the feature requests that you're familiar with. And it's been one of the most asked for features in the community for many years now. And we have today a dozen of customers who are actively piloting this, and it will be available as an early access feature in the coming months.
Yeah. So, Beth, I know we've been talking about how the custom admin roles existed in the old Ideas portal before we moved to Okta Ideas last year. It's obviously been around for a long time. And I'm curious to hear from your perspective how the transition to Okta Ideas has impacted the way that you communicate directly with customers.
Yeah, product managers are using Okta Ideas to reach out to customers for a variety of reasons, really. We reach out to customers with surveys, recruiting customers for different beta programs, and scheduling one on one time to gather more information on use cases. An example of this, other than admin roles, is MFA for self service password reset. It was one of the top feature requests as well in Ideas, and we used Ideas to merge together all related use cases and sent out a survey to everyone who was following those ideas. We reached out to over 200 customers and got a response that same day from over two-thirds of those people. And this really helped to quickly inform and validate the direction we're taking our product. And this was in large part thanks to the detailed use cases customers shared when creating new ideas, as well as the comments that users have added to existing ideas. Molly, are there any best practices customers should know about to make their asks as clear and actionable as possible?
Yeah, so I covered a lot of these earlier, some of like the top questions I get around how to engage with the platform. And there are definitely a few that I think really make the difference. And one that I called out before that I'll call out again is prioritizing your ideas. This is such an important data point for us to help us understand what's critical versus what is a nice to have. And this factors in a big way when we are actually prioritizing the roadmap. Another is encouraging others to participate, getting as many other customers and your own colleagues in the portal as well, talking about their use cases, voting, commenting, prioritizing themselves. This is hugely, hugely helpful, again, in helping us determine what is absolutely critical versus what is a nice to have. And again, adding as much detail and as many use cases as possible. The more data we have in the tool, the better. And a couple of other small ones. I mean, there is sort of functionality in the tool to prevent dupes, but always check for similar ideas before submitting. We try to keep the titles clean so it's easy to find. And of course, there are always going to be dupes. You know, it's impossible to solve 100% for this, but definitely recommend doing a thorough search before submitting. And also, last thing is making sure your email notifications are turned on. I know, there's obviously everyone's inboxes are insane, and I personally do the same thing, want to mute whatever I possibly can that isn't absolutely critical. But if there is a feature that is absolutely critical to you, make sure you have voted on it or subscribed to it, and make sure that Okta Ideas emails are hitting your inbox so that you're aware when things are added to the roadmap, when things are released, just generally when there's a status change. So yeah, those are probably some of my top recommendations. So Rob, question for you. So we're launching IGA and PAM pretty soon. Do you have any specific advice for customers on how to engage with us? Any best practices for them?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're really excited to be, delivering, deeper capabilities into both the IGA and PAM markets. You're going to see, as you heard, you know, a really modern approach, cloud first approach, identity centric approach to these markets, and we're excited to uh, get that to you. But the cool thing is there's time for you to influence what comes out in version 1. It's not, this is not baked yet. We know we have really strong ideas of where we want to focus, and obviously we've been talking to customers like you for years about this. This is not, our first entry. We've got existing solutions, but as Molly was sharing, when you give us an idea, submit ideas specifically around the IGA and PAM use cases that are important to you. For PAM, what are the resource targets that are most meaningful? What are who are the people within your org that need access to these tools? What are those use cases and scenarios that are like so critical to you, and provide the context, like Molly's saying. Give us more and more data explaining what would this look like? Why is this important? How would you leverage this? Because there's a pretty good chance that you're not going to only influence our eventual roadmap. You could influence what actually comes out early next year in these first releases. So we're really excited to see your contributions there. We've got a lot of stuff happening, Molly. We've got a lot of launches. We've got a lot of new innovations. We've got a lot of new initiatives. So how is Okta Ideas going to handle the expected influx of amazing suggestions that are going to come in to help guide us with all of this stuff that we're doing? Like, how are we going to handle this?
Yeah, so I have walked through a few of our major roadmap items that are coming up for Okta Ideas, like increased moderation, which I think is going to be hugely impactful right out of the gate for customers using the tool. Same with PM usability. Like I said, we're going to be surfacing these insights directly to PM. They cannot escape them. They cannot avoid them. The tool they're using day in and day out is going to surface these insights directly to them. So again, something that will be hugely impactful. There are a few other changes I haven't talked about yet that I'd love to highlight. One of those is an ideas survey. We are going to be surveying you, customers, internal folks as well, just to get a pulse check on what's working and what's not before we continue on with our roadmap changes. Another thing that we're going to be launching soon are walkthroughs and tutorials. This is primarily focused internally on Okta folks to bring more teams into the fold with Okta Ideas. Right now, we have customer support in there. We have particularly active CSMs participating. But what we really want to do is bring more teams at Okta into the fold. And so I think that these tutorials are going to help a lot with that. So you should see more Okta participation as a result. Another thing that's coming up is more integrations with the Okta community. So to illustrate what this might look like for our customers, let's say you are on the help center, you want to learn more about customer identity. So you go to our specific product hub to engage in groups, maybe ask a few questions in a Q&A, maybe answer a few questions. ideas will be surfaced in that experience as well. So it'll be really easy to jump in, engage based on the product area that you're focusing on. You won't have to kind of hunt and peck and dig around to find relevant ideas. And maybe you'll even see something that you hadn't thought of that applied to your use case. You can just jump right in and start talking about that. So speaking of the Help Center, one thing we get a lot of questions about is where to access the new product roadmap. So Rob, could you talk us through that recent change?
Yeah, no, I'm really happy to. Some as you know, if you don't know, you could see the link below that we do have our product roadmap updated on our website for you to access anytime. We've recently made a refresh of how we're packaging this for you. So on a quarterly basis, internally, we build out every product manager for every part of our business. Builds out updates to how are we progressing across our product roadmap, and we have this incredibly large detailed deck that we enable our entire field with. So every one of the reps you talk to, every SE, they understand what's coming and can really walk you through it. But we wanted to make sure you had something that you could access without having to schedule an appointment. And we have a really clean, very easy to read, easy to understand PDF. So not only can you access it, you could share it with your colleagues, with others, to be able to really understand where are the things that are important to you on the roadmap, when are they coming? And then, of course, like usual, if you want a deeper dive and understand a little bit more about specific features that are coming out or where things are falling, you talk to your rep and you schedule that time. And we'd love to spend time going through all of those details. But we're looking forward to you check out the new roadmap on the website.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Rob. So that concludes our fireside chat today. Thank you so much again to Rob and Beth for joining me. I wanted to, of course, plug ideas. That's what we're here to talk about today. This is really the best way for you as Okta customers to talk to us. So again, this is where you should be going to engage directly with product managers there and of course your CSMs. And if you do have any specific questions around Okta Ideas, the process, the tool, you can reach out to me directly. I've included my email here in the slide. You can also find me on the Okta community. So again, thank you so much everybody for joining. Hope you enjoy the rest of Octane.